Pitch 113 about to be delivered. 2-2 to Michael Busch. Cease kicks and fires, and that is right at the top of the zone. Strike 3 called. 12 strikeouts on the day for Dylan Cease and 7 shutout innings.
Oh, what a day for Dylan Cease, returning to Chicago, where he not only was drafted by the Cubs, but where he starred crosstown for the White Sox today. He returned to the north side, and he shut down Chicago to lead the Padres with a 3-0 victory over the Cubs and a series win. Welcome into Gwynn and Chris, everybody, the Wednesday edition. We've got 3 full hours with you today, right up until 6 o'clock. And then it's the return of the Scraby Chronicles. Matt Scraby will be in here tonight. He's here now, but
yes.
He'll be in here alone. He'll be left to his own devices between 6 and 7 p.m. tonight for the Scraby Chronicles. So we all look forward to that. We're going to do our regular stuff today on the program. We've got Chris vs. the Fans coming up in about an hour. Chance for you to win a trip to Las Vegas. We'll get a big 5 in. We have our Daily Gambit. Going to do that a little later in the show this evening. And also, coming up today, Scrabe, I'm donning the wig. It's an afternoon of sports court.
Oh, yes.
Coming up in about a half an hour. I got to go dig out the old judge's wig.
If you have not seen it yet, Chris fits this wig so perfect that you may think it's its actual hair. You
have to tune in on the YouTube to watch the program. You can access that. Just go to YouTube and search 97.3 The Fan. You can always watch the show, but today it would be especially fun to watch the show. The Padres are coming home. All is good in the world of the Friars, or is it?
What?
Friars beat the Cubs today. Friars take the series. Friars take the road trip. Friars come home. Everybody's happy. Everybody's feeling good, except me. I'm not feeling good about things right now.
What?
And
what?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to get into this in a little bit. I want to, I want to first discuss the fact that, they played really well today, but, it was all Dylan Cease today. I mean, come on, 7 innings. Of course, the one hit he gives up is to Yan Gomes. I blame you for that, by the way.
I didn't do anything today with Yan Gomes.
Well, you were the one yesterday that posted Yan Gomes as 100 for 100 in his career
I'm just
against
posting
the Padres.
Facts, Chris.
You're not posting facts. He's 100 for 102. He actually made 2 outs today.
Wow, that's incredible.
But he did get their only hit. It was an infield single. It was off the glove of Dylan Cease. Rolled out towards Xander Bogaerts at second base. Xander made a perfect play on it, came in, fielded, threw. And I thought, at first glance, they had Gomes at first base. Bang, bang play. He was called safe. Mike Schilt, held everything up to look for the replay. But alas, he was safe. So Cubs got their only hit, and there was no no-hitter today. I will say this, Dylan Cease would have never finished up a no-hitter on his own. He threw 113 pitches today. Not only did that tie for the most ever in his career, it was the second most pitches thrown by any pitcher in baseball this year. Chris Bassett of Toronto had a 116-pitch performance earlier this year. Cease just missed eclipsing that. But, he struck out 12. He struck out the side 3 times today. I mean, he was just absolutely flying through the Cubs. The wind was blowing in. It wouldn't have mattered, right, today?
No one made good contact, really.
No, I don't think anybody. They hit a couple of fly balls, but for the most part, he was in complete control. He improves to 5-2. The ERA is 2.19. And what's funny is everybody's going to forget that A.J. Preller made another one of his really good trades to bring in Dylan Cease.
That's a very good
Where would
trade
the Padres be without this guy?
Yeah.
I know they had to, part with some of their young prospects. Included was Drew Thorpe. All right. But honestly, can you remember anybody else off the top of your head?
I can, but that's just because I work in this.
You're just kind of crazy like that.
Jairo Iriarte.
Okay.
Then there was, who else was there?
Exactly.
Steven Wilson, obviously.
Well, I know Steven Wilson went, yeah. But, honestly, that's the thing to me.
Gosh,
Prospects are fun. They're prospects.
Zavala.
Okay, yeah. All right. But anyway, would you trade those guys again for what Dylan Cease has done?
Yes.
Of course you would.
Yes.
The other guy that, A.J. Preller just got, Luis Arise, again for prospects. 2 more hits today for Arise. He triggered both rallies, for the Padres. He scored 2 runs. He got hit by a pitch. I mean, the guy's, he's paying dividends already. And, again, after a couple of weeks goes by, I'm pretty sure you'll all forget all the prospects that they traded to get him.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, Arise is here now, Cease is here now, and where would the Padres be without these guys? But the thing that has me a little bit, and one more thing about today's game that was impressive. Padres scored 3 runs today. All 3 of them were on 2-out clutch singles. Every single time. Manny Machado had a 2-out clutch single to score the first run of the game. And then it was Tatis and Cronenworth with 2-out clutch singles to score the other 2 runs. So that was it. Padres had only 1 extra base hit today. That was a double by Cronenworth. But, all in all, in fact, Cronenworth's RBI was a double, not a single. But you get my point.
Yeah.
They got some clutch hitting today. They've been getting clutch hitting all year. They're 3 of 7 with runners in scoring position again. They're leading baseball. They're leading baseball in OPS with runners on base. They're the best team in baseball
that
right
actually
now
shocks me.
with runners on base.
With how much time we spend talking about that.
All right. Here's the other thing. They got Cease going good. They got Darvish going well. They're now 19-11 when they have one of their top 4 pitchers on the mound. Of course, Musgrove is, on the injured list for now. But if you've got Darvish, Musgrove, Cease, or even King, the Padres are a 19-11 baseball team. So things are sailing along when they win games. Their starting pitching now has an ERA of 2.58 in their 20 wins. They have 12 quality starts out of those 20 wins. I mean, everything seems wonderful.
Yeah, what's going on in that head of yours? You keep building them up when I'm waiting for you to tear them down.
Here's the problem, Scraby, and this is a big problem. All of those good things are happening. They're 20-20. That's not good enough. You're not going to go anywhere at 20-20. We are now a quarter of the way through the season. You go 20-20 3 more times, you're going to be 80-80. You're not going to go to the postseason. To me, the Padres are doing a really lousy job of taking advantage of all of the good things that are happening. Profar is having the year of his life. He almost won the ball game for you last night. Jackson Merrill has had a great debut and has taken over in center field. There's too many good things happening to be 20-20. This team, they won today, but they always win when, in fact, every team always wins when their starting pitcher goes 7 innings and shutty and gives up 1 hit. You're going to win that game. What the Padres have to start doing, and what they're not doing, is winning some games that are not automatic to win. They got to figure out a way to start getting some of these games. I mentioned that they're 19-11 when their 4 starters, 1 through 4, are on the mound. They're 1-9 when either Waldron or Vasquez starts. You got to start winning some of these games. If you're going to be a playoff team, you can't just forfeit the game every time the 5th starter in your rotation pitches. You can't forfeit the game when Vasquez pitches. You've got to win some of these games. You got to find a way to get it done. They're having a great season on the road. They're having a terrible season at home. They're hitting with runners in scoring position, but then they're not winning. They're doing all of these things really well. But it should translate to 24-16, not 20-20. This is where the problem is. And I think right now, a lot of people are all in their happy feelings, really just sailing along happily with what the Padres are doing this year. But somebody's got to call it out and say, hey, 20-20 is not going to get you where you want to go. You've got to do better than this.
Hold on.
I'll hold on.
Because if I were to have the same exact take, I think your answer would be, it's too early.
Well, it's not. It's now.
No, wait, you can't move the goalposts.
Here's the problem. You're now 40 games in. If you're going to go 40 games and go 20-20 again and a couple more times, you're not going to make it. At some point, you've got to start winning more than you're losing. You've got to start edging ahead of that 500 mark.
I get that.
You've got to follow up one of these road trips with a good homestand.
They're only a quarter of the way through the season is what I have ringing through my head right now.
Okay, fine. The good news is they're not out of it. The good news is they've, hung in there. They've stabilized through the first 5-6 weeks of the season. The bad news is they haven't yet figured out a way to consistently win more than they're losing. And that is what we have to discuss, and that is what we have to figure out. We have to find a way for this team to take advantage of Profar, to take advantage of Cease, to take advantage of the hitting with runners in scoring position and the overall hitting with runners on base. We got to take advantage of Robert Suarez, who, just absolutely automatic right now, 12 for 12. Those things aren't going to keep up all season. So what happens when some of those go away? Is something else going to replace them? What is going to get this team to go from 20-20 and now in the next 40 games to go 25-15 so that they can actually get into contention for a playoff spot? Because right now they're just kind of on the sidelines.
You can't judge this version of this team for another maybe 20, 30 games because Luis Arias is going to change the lineup. It already has changed the lineup. It's already done good things for the Padres.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
You're getting more support on the chat than I actually thought you were going to get because...
Oh, I know I'm going to get a lot of support on this because right now the fans, some of them are happy, but a lot of them are seeing the same thing that I'm seeing, and that is so many good things happening except for the record not being what it should be. To me, and this is hard to define, but to me right now, the Padres are less than the sum of their parts. The parts are Arias joining. The parts are Profar and Suarez and Cease and all of these games that they've pitched and hit and with runners in scoring position.
Manny had a good series.
And Merrill and Manny's starting to pick it up and Fernando. All of these are the parts. The sum should be better than 20-20 based on what I've seen so far. Jake Cronenworth has had a remarkable resurgence this year. He's at 292.
He really has.
I mean, there's so many good things happening. And I think what we're doing and what we have been doing on this show is focusing on all of the really good things that are happening. But we're not paying attention to the fact that 2020 is not good enough. Not good enough. You got to be better. You have to be better than 20-20 if you want to be in the postseason. I'm sorry. They have to figure out a way. They come home. They got the Dodgers, a team that has beaten them 13 years in a row in the season series.
Hey, they've already got a good start on it.
Okay, well, let's see if they can do it again. You got the Rockies after that. We're going to have another split with them, or are we going to take care of business like we should?
You have to take care of business against the Rockies.
Okay, well, 20-20 is not enough. So my question to you out there, what do we have to do to get beyond 20-20? Because I've seen what I've seen to get us to this point, and I'm seeing a lot of good stuff. But what do we got to do to get beyond this? 833-288-0973. Maybe you completely disagree. Maybe you are happy as a clam that the Padres are 20-20. I don't think that's enough. This team is not having the kind of results that the individual performances say it should be having.
I think we're in bizarro world because I can almost guarantee this take would have put me into the loony bin.
Here's the problem. You might have had this take, but you wouldn't have backed it up with as much ammunition as I did.
You don't know that?
I do know that
No, you
because
don't.
I've seen your takes before.
And they're great takes. That's why I have a show now, Chris.
I know you do. And you can comment on your takes a little bit later on.
I'm just going to comment about the last, for the hour that I'm being gaslit by you guys about this too early. Now it's not too early? I don't get it. It was too early like a week ago. Now it's not too early.
It's not too early to start playing a little bit better than 500 baseball.
Actually, great question from Reed, and you're going to answer it on the other side. Chris, what would you like the record to be right now on the other side?
We'll check some traffic. We'll get into this conversation a little bit further. There's no traffic yet out there?
Not
That's good.
No. I told Kelly Danick she should not expect the traffic before 3:30. So.
All right, we'll take our regular break then. Come back. We are underway for a Wednesday. Somebody's got to light a fire under this team, and it might as well be me. On Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan.
No radio, no problem. The Odyssey app allows you to stream Padres baseball from your smartphone or tablet.
All right, Padres' last 3 road trips. At L.A., Dodgers, at Milwaukee, they went 4-2. At Colorado, 2-2. That wasn't great. And then this road trip at Arizona and Chicago, 4-2. So those are all winning results. So why isn't this team winning more overall? Scraby says it's very simple.
Very simple.
They're 8-11 at home.
Yep.
8-12 is their home record.
Yes.
Because they were saddled with a home loss
in Korea.
Yeah. But officially at home, they're 8-11. They've got the Dodgers for 3 and the Rockies for 3. Chance to do something about that home record. Chris Sello, Tony Gwynn Jr., of course, is off today. He and the Padres are traveling back. Tony will be with us for a full program tomorrow.
Yes, he will.
Starting at 2 o'clock. We'll also have our Padres Roundtable tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I'm going to bring all this stuff up on the Roundtable tomorrow.
You're going to ruffle feathers with everyone?
I don't know that I'm going to ruffle feathers. Maybe, Ben and Woods and, Annie and Elston, maybe they agree with me. I don't know. I'm not mad at the team. I'm not throwing out the season. Somebody said, what should their record be? I'd be happy with 23-17 right now. Just get me, the way they've played well enough to be 5 or 6 games over 500. That's my whole point here. And they got to find a way to get beyond 20-20. They've been kind of, huddling around this 500 mark all year long. As a matter of fact,
all year long they played 40 games.
Yeah, well, to this point, that's where they've been. Scrape, the highest they've been over 500 so far is 11-9. After they won in Milwaukee on April 16th, you got to get 4, 5, 6 games over 500. That's all. And somebody said, well, hey, Chris, 20-20 is good enough to be in the playoffs right now. No, it's not. The Nationals won last night. They're 18-17. They would have the final wild card spot right now, if that mattered.
If you want Chris to get mad, tell him he's wrong about a stat that he knows is right.
Yeah. Well, look, don't make an argument and be wrong.
I go in the break. I'm like, oh, Chris, you were wrong. They would be in the wild card.
And I said, no, I'm not wrong, because I wouldn't bring it up if I was wrong. Look,
it's winning at home, Chris. That's all it is.
Well, it's 2 things. It really is. Statistically, it's 2 things. One, winning at home, where they're 8-11, and the other thing is finding a way to win with your number 5 starter on the mound.
Yeah.
And if you want to blame Waldron for all of it,
well, he is the number 5 starter.
Yes, he is. But it's still a team game. Vasquez, they're 0-3 with him pitching too. Now, he pitched well enough to help them win last night. They didn't get it done. The bullpen couldn't hold it. So you've got to win some of these games. 1-9, you can't just phone away every one of those games. And we're looking at the weekend coming up, right? King is pitching Friday night. Waldron Saturday.
Home runs to the Dodgers last time.
All right, that's last time. Look, King, like I said, they have a 19-11 record with King, Darvish, Musgrove, and Cease. King has not been unbelievable, but at least he's 3-3. He's giving them a chance to win these games.
Yeah.
They're winning a good majority of his games.
He shows he can lock it down.
Saturday, Waldron is pitching. So are you just going to say we give up in that game? That's my point. You can't give up that game. You've got to say, hey, we got to find a way to win it. Whether you got to score 8 runs, whether you got to throw out some base runners trying to steal to help Waldron, whatever it is, you got to find a way to win some of these Waldron games, and you got to find a way to win some of these Vasquez games, because these guys are pitching right now in 2 of the next 4 games. You can't just give them up.
I agree with you on the Matt Waldron not being his fault thing, because he has pitched some good games for the Padres, and they just haven't driven in runs.
He's pitched better than a 1-6 record in his record.
He has.
His record alone is not 1-6. But they are 1-6 with him in there.
Yes.
Okay?
He's pitched well enough to get some wins. So I won't say that he's the sole reason.
He's not the sole reason. He pitched terrible last time out. I get that. But he's not the sole reason. They've got to find a way to win some of those games, and they got to do better at home if they want to get where they want to go.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And I'm sure where they want to go is the postseason.
Yes, I think they want to go to the postseason.
All right. So, and I believe there's a difference, because I agree. I think you're trying to say that I'm being hypocritical, because Tony and I
know that I used that word.
You didn't, but
you said you moved the goalpost.
You're
on me.
insinuating that I'm being hypocritical, because Tony and I always say it's early. Yeah, it's early for for some individual guys to get going. It's early for some pitchers to get into a rhythm and into a groove. It's not too early to start trying to figure out a way to get away from this nasty 500 mark.
Okay, we can agree on that.
All right, we don't have time for calls at the moment because we're at the bottom of the hour. So
We can.
if
take
you're online,
one if you want.
no, we'll get some.
All
We'll
right.
get some. We'll hold off on the sports court. If you called in, you want to discuss this, you agree, you think I'm an idiot, 833-288-0973. The Chris is an idiot line is always open for
Always
business.
open.
Sure, Scraby puts you right to the front if you think that.
It's like the bat phone; it just goes off. It says "idiot" line is ringing.
Yes, there's like a light goes up in the sky when the Chris is an idiot line rings. So, all right, your calls, conversation when we come back, Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
What about AJ delivering the perfect morning, guys?
Perfect.
All right, it's a good phone call day. We'll get to your phone calls here shortly. 3:39 is the time. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Despite everything that I'm ranting and raving about, Padres did win today, 3-0.
Oh, did they?
Over the Cubs. Yeah. But I've had enough of this feel-good 20-20 thing. Gonna have to do better. If you love Mediterranean food, like I love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's. They got authentic Mediterranean cuisine. It's in Coronado, La Jolla, or now at the ballpark at Petco Park for dining, takeout options, or catering. Visit spiroscuisine.com.
I have a quick comment before we get into the phone calls.
What you got?
From Lisa. Lisa is a very good fan of ours and
Okay.
listener. Chris, 2 days ago, and thank you, Lisa, for saying this. Chris, 2 days ago, you said we were poised for a run. Yes, the Pods lost the next game, though we won the next after that. But it's quite the 180. Very good point, Lisa.
I am hoping for a run. I am feeling a run. And I'm not going back on that prediction. I'm just saying that I'm trying to light a little fire maybe to get the run going. I mean, you got to get the run. You can't, I'm predicting it. It's still got to happen. The run hasn't happened yet, right? What's the most they've won in a row? 4 straight?
Yeah, that's it.
And like I said, the most they've been over 500 is 2 games.
I feel like the Phillies have had like 3 separate 7-game win streaks this year.
Their whatever their latest streak is stopped today. They lost to the Blue Jays 5-3. Dodgers won again. I don't know what the Dodgers are at in terms of winning streak.
Ooh,
I think they're up to
put together a nice run.
7
too.
in a row.
Yeah.
Coming in here for the series on Friday night. But all right, what do you think out there, Lisa? Thank you. You're right. Keep me in check. But I'm expecting. I'm hoping for a run. But I want to know, what are we going to need to do to actually have it? Baker, lead us off here today on Gwynn and Chris. How are you today, sir?
Hey, fabulous. Yeah, Baker Man here in La Jolla. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I love listening to you guys, but here's one thing that I really think about. You look at last year's playoffs, and the number one wild card team was Philadelphia at 90-72. And, not too many people would be excited if the Padres had gone 11-9 in their first 20, or 18, or had what you had suggested was 18-22. That's satisfactory. But it's actually, if they win 11 out of 20, that's actually a 555 clip. That puts them at 89 wins, and in the National League, that's going to get them a wild card. So I think that this team certainly has a chance to go on at least as long of a winning streak as they did a 5-game losing streak. And I really just think they're getting warmed up. So I think we're going to see this team with the number one wild card this year when it's all said and done.
All right, thanks,
All
Baker.
right.
Appreciate that.
First time, long time. I love that.
Yeah, I like to hear from Baker there. He's wrong.
Wait, what? No.
11-9 and 89 is not going to get you the top wild card, not in a league where the Braves and Phillies are in the same league.
Sorry, Baker.
But 89 will get you a wild card. I agree with him there. But they're not going 11-9 every 20 games right now. So far, they're going 10-10 every 20 games. There's a difference. And if you look at the wild card last year, the Diamondbacks got it with 84-78, 6 games over. But the Padres need to figure out a way to get to 6 games over. I mean, that's my whole point here. They don't need to be 20 games over 500. They need to be 6 to 10 games over 500 at some point. And what I'm concerned about, even though I'm predicting a hot streak, I'm hopeful for a hot streak, and although I agree that it's still early, what I'm concerned about is a lot of really good individual things are happening. And the record is not holding up to that.
I feel that too, Chris. I feel that sometimes the hitting's really good, but the pitching's bad. Sometimes the starting pitching is good, but the bullpen's bad. Sometimes the closer's been great all year.
Yeah,
but they're not all. At times, they have one group of their team doing well and the other team not doing, or the group not.
I mean,
doing
they've
well.
won 6 of their last 8 games right now. All right,
and we're complaining.
Well, that's gotten them back to 500. Now can you win 6 of 8 again? And go 4 games over 500. That's what I'm asking. And I don't care what the opponents are. The Dodgers, the Rockies, you go on the road, you got the Braves, you got some good teams coming up. You're going to have to beat some of these teams. And because you're losing to some of the bad teams. We already saw the Rockies, give you a problem. This team should be better in 2020. This is why my frustration today.
They have had a really hard schedule, too.
Not going to get a lot easier. Have
Well,
you looked at it?
Well, not in the near term, but in the beginning of the year, they've played a lot of good teams.
I don't really care
and finally today, you know how we always come in here and we say, oh, well, they just went up against an ace. Finally today, the Padres got to say, hey, that other team went up against the ace. It doesn't usually happen that way, I don't feel like.
Well, I don't know. Over the course of 162, you're going to play everybody, right? It's a, quote, balanced schedule.
True.
So you're going to play all the good teams and all the bad teams at some point. You're going to face your share of aces. You're going to face your share of number 5 starters. I guarantee you the Dodgers' record isn't 1-9 when their number 5 starter's going. You can't have that and have the record that they have.
I'll go look at that.
Would you please?
Yes.
Let me go to Jed in Little Italy.
I think Jed's on the chat. He's been itching to get on the line.
Jed, welcome to the show.
Boys, how we doing?
Good, thanks.
Hello. Honestly, I got to agree with you because I said the same exact thing last night, but then I had to backtrack myself and take a little bit deeper look into what's actually going on. And 20-20, 500 is not with this really lengthened lineup now that we have Luis Ariz. So I'd like to see how the team does in the next 40 games because I truthfully believe that addition, moving Kim down to 9, Xander in the 6 or 7 is one of the top lineups in all of baseball. And also touching on what you guys were just talking about with the very tough start to the year, I kind of dug ahead. I looked forward. In the month of August and September, there's only 14 games out of almost 40 that are against teams above 500. In the month of September, 21 out of 28 games are against the very lower level teams. And that's hopefully we can kind of tread water and be above 500, hitting that, and then get on a 10 for 15 out of those games there and roll into the playoffs well above 500.
I hope you're right. I know last year they did awfully well in September. It was a little late, right? I mean, it was kind of over when they made their run. In fact, they won their last 5 games last year. I hate when people say that
because it wasn't kind of over. They had a playoff shot until 6 games left.
Yeah, well, they won their last 5 games. So they couldn't have had much of a playoff shot with 6 games left because they won them all.
I love how
and they still didn't get into the playoffs.
That run at the end of last year doesn't matter, even though it did matter.
Fine.
They got them to 500.
They closed the season last year 14-2.
That's amazing.
That's great. So, but don't tell me they had a shot at the playoffs. They went 14-2 and still didn't make it.
That's the whole thing of last year is that they were in it until the end.
They were not really in it till the end. They were 10 games. They were 10 games out on September. They were 10 games under 500 on September 12th. And then when we all started getting our football and NFL season on, they went on a crazy roll down the stretch.
I'd rather them have that roll
to get close. Not close enough. As far as
they are going to have to. They are going to have to at least start winning to get, like you said, 6 games over 500.
I want to. They got to get up there. All right, Carrie, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling, Carrie. Hello,
Carrie.
Carrie, you're on.
I don't hear. Okay, I'll put her back on hold.
Put her back on hold. Let's go to Gabe. Hi, Gabe. Welcome.
Hey, boys. Hey, Chris, I share your frustration. I think it's more the bullpen. But I'm also, quite frankly, concerned about Musgrove's health and a thin rotation. But come All-Star break, I think they'll be able to figure that out and then make a run and stay close. I also agree with the last caller that the lineup is diametrically changed this past week, and it's much more lengthened, and you're looking at a different team now.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Thank you, Gabe.
As I said 2 days ago, Lisa pointed out, I'm feeling a little bit of a hot streak. Today, I'm, trying to light a fire to get that hot streak. That's all. Seriously.
Nate makes a great point. It strengthens your point on the chat. He said 6-4 in the last 10, still about 500, even with all this winning that they've been doing.
It's just got a lot of good things happening this year. Again, let's go back to the beginning of the season. Huge question marks. Suarez. How's that been answered? With an A+.
Yes.
Huge question mark. Cronenworth. There are people totally ready to give up on that guy. Answer, A+. Jurickson Profar, everyday left fielder. Huge question mark. Answer, A+.
So far.
Hitting with runners in scoring position, hitting with runners on base. Worst team in baseball last year. This year, A+. Best team in baseball. Those are stats. Those are facts. And also 20-20, the old you are what your record says you are.
You are who we thought you were. They're second. You may have just said this, but they're second in baseball in batting average as a team.
Are they?
The Dodgers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
they've jumped up a little bit in the recent
They're 260
games.
as a team. They're in the top 10 of OPS. I know we talked about that yesterday. So you're right. There are great performances happening throughout the year so far, but they're not getting the wins to back it up.
Not enough. Not enough wins. Like I said, they don't need to be 30-10 right now, but they should be 23-17. Comfortably over 500. I mean, they just played 500 ball at home, they'd be comfortably over 500. 8-11 at Petco Park, despite people coming out in droves.
I don't have the stats.
Come on, guys.
I don't have the stats behind me to back this up, but haven't they traditionally always been not as great at home?
I don't think any team traditionally is better on the road than they are at home. Except maybe the Astros.
That's true.
The Astros had a crazy split last year.
They really did.
Let's go to Frank. Rancho Bernardo. A really nice place. It is.
Hi,
Frank.
guys.
Hey,
How
Frank.
you doing?
Hey, there's a couple things I've been dying to talk to you guys about. One, if Kim and Bogarts want to hit more than 205 or 210, they're going to have to stop taking strike one and strike two every time they're at bat. They take way too many strikes.
Okay.
And I'm surprised the manager hasn't talked to him about that, or the hitting coach. And, it's like, do you ever look at your tapes and see that you take two good pitches and swing at a bad one? That's why they're hitting 210.
One of the
other
reasons,
thing is
let me just jump in. Let me jump in, then you'll get your chance. Hang on, Frank. One of the things, Bogarts and Kim, look, they both stink. Kim's better than Bogarts. I've stuck up for Bogarts, if not more than anybody. It's hard to watch this guy right now. But it also does seem when you're struggling that it's always 0-2. It just always seems like it goes that way. You're never ahead 2-0. And you take a pitch, and like you said, you're down in the count. Somehow Bogarts has got to figure this out. Because either that or, another month goes by, All-Star game, he can't be batting fifth or sixth in your lineup hitting like this.
Well, they're not going to sit him.
I know they're not going to sit him, but he can't be hitting fifth or sixth in your lineup. Kim, same thing, but they've dropped him down to 9. I don't know where you're going to – I guess you drop him out.
Yeah.
You could put Manny at short and Solano at third.
I don't think
you
they
want to
wanna
make
do that either.
You want to make that crazy of a move?
I don't think so.
Go ahead, Frank.
One more thing I'd like to mention. The three big guys, and obviously one of them, Bogarts, from an income standpoint.
Yeah.
Machado and Tatis, none of them are hitting. And this team is not going to make a run until the big three, or at least two of those big three, start hitting the baseball. Bogarts got 11 RBIs.
He has no RBIs in his last 50 at-bats. That honestly is not – that's not acceptable.
How many at-bats did he have with runners in scoring position?
I don't know, but I know that it's been 50 ABs since he's knocked in a run. Frank's right, and this is something I have said. Machado and Tatis have to be bigger dogs than they've been. They're doing all right, but they're not paid to do all right. They're paid to dominate.
I feel like we are are in such a weird world right now because they've just beat a good team on the road at Wrigley.
And this is the time to take stock of it. This is the time to come home and say, hey, great, guys. We've done a lot of great things. Now let's move it on to the next little level here. This is an excellent time to take stock. And, they won today. If they'd have lost today, you wouldn't have batted an eye at any of this conversation.
Exactly, because they won, and
Yes,
they had a winning road trip.
But a win doesn't take away the fact that they're a 500 team right now.
I know, but I don't know why we say they have to start winning road trips, and then they start winning road trips, and it's not good enough.
It's nice to win the road trip. It's nice to win the game today. And by the way, going back to your theory that some teams are better on the road, other than the Astros, I can't find off the top of my looking at this a team that was better on the road last year than they were at home.
Even the A's?
In Major League Baseball. Even the A's.
The A's never won.
They won 26 at home. They won 24 on the road last year.
Wow.
Almost every team wins more games at home than they do on the road. The Tigers won a couple more on the road last year. The Nationals. So I found a couple for you, but more than, normally you got to do better at home than you're on the road.
Side question for someone one day, but is it the way Petco is designed that just doesn't fit with this team? I don't know. We bring the heat as fans every single night.
Fans, I'm not blaming them.
No, not
They've
at all.
been fantastic. All right, you go 5-1 on this homestand, you'll be right back to 500
Is that going to be good
home.
enough?
Yeah, make me happy.
They have to go 5-1.
It's not what they have to do. They eventually have to start winning more than they're losing. They have to find a way to do that.
Water finds its level.
I'm content with where they are right now, but content isn't going to get me where I want to go. I got to push onward, Scraby. Onward and upward. More Gwynn and Chris ahead. The day at Wrigley Field started with College Basketball Player of the Year Zach Edey throwing an awful ceremonial first pitch.
It's really bad.
He missed the left-handed batter's box. Like the catcher dove to his right, Zach Edey's left.
Yep.
The catcher dove to his right, couldn't get there.
Couldn't.
Ball just caromed off the brick wall behind home plate at Wrigley Field. But the pitching was very good after that.
Are we sure?
We're pretty sure Dylan Cease was on fire today. 7 innings, just 1 infield hit, walked 2, struck out 12, struck out the side 3 times, returned to Chicago, and the Padres claimed a 3-0 victory over the Cubs. Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 4:02 is the time. Padres return home after a successful 4-2 road trip. Everybody out there is ecstatic, except for me, because I'm taking a look at the standings, and I'm not thrilled with 20-20. This team should be better. What do they have to do to get better? We'll discuss that further as the program goes along, but right now it's a chance for you.
I didn't know we were doing this, to be honest.
To play Chris versus the fans.
I didn't know.
You can qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. The read that I normally have is not on my sheet.
It's a new read.
Well, where is it?
At 4 p.m.
Is it?
It should be. Yes, it is. I see it right now.
You do?
4 p.m. A pair of tickets.
Oh, that's it. We're just giving away a pair of tickets to the San Diego Legion New England Free Jacks game.
Yeah.
We're not going to Las Vegas today.
No.
Oh. Well, then I misrepresented in the last segment by saying that everybody'd have a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas.
Oh, what's new?
Oh, I'm the bearer of
Now
misinformation.
now you're misrepresenting the Padres season. You're misrepresenting everything that's happened up until this point.
I'd like to know how I'm misrepresenting the Padres season when I'm reporting that their record is 20-20. How is that misrepresenting it?
The problem is I can't
believe
prove...
if you look in the standings, it says 20 wins, 20 losses.
The problem is I can't prove that I'm right.
No, you can't. The bottom
I
line
just find
is
it very strange that I'm going to say it. You're crying about a 20-20 record when you've been telling me for 6 months it's too early. I can't get over it. I can't.
All right, you're going to win a pair of tickets to the SD Legion New England Free Jacks, Snapdragon Stadium, May 19th. This is a rematch of last year's Rugby League Championship game. Tickets on sale now at sdlegion.com. More than that, you get all the cachet that goes along with winning a round of Chris versus the fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Good, Chris. You have the Dodger fan in the chat saying you're right. How do you feel now?
I am right. I don't need a Dodger fan to tell me that I'm telling everyone that their record is 20-20. That's exactly what they are. I don't need somebody to confirm that for me.
All right. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult as you go along. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before the first question. You'll get that question for free today. Also, we are giving away, speaking of the Dodgers and Padres playing this weekend, we are going to be giving away a pair of tickets tomorrow. So, we don't know how we're going to do it, but you need to be paying attention throughout the entire show because at some point, you will have a chance to win those tickets to a weekend game against the Dodgers. Yes. That was not a great way to end that, but everybody knows what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure they do. Because you boxed that up so badly.
If you tune in tomorrow for our show, at some point we'll be giving out Padres and Dodgers tickets for the weekend.
Okay.
That's a little bit
little bit better way of saying it. Good job.
You okay?
I'm all right.
All right. Here we go. Let's go to our first contestant. Noah was the first person I saw call. Noah, you're up. Sweet. Noah?
Hello?
Hey,
Hello?
Noah, are you there?
Noah.
Yeah,
you
I'm
are
there.
the first contestant today on the Price is Right.
Are you
Congratulations.
ready to play?
Yes, I am.
All
He's
right,
ready.
Here we go. Question number 1.
Let's go.
Let's do this one. Damian Lillard played for what team before he played for the Milwaukee Bucks?
I'm gonna go with the Trailblazers.
Trailblazers. You are correct. I have my suspicions
Not a
about
big
Noah.
basketball fan, are you, Noah?
Oh, definitely not. Big baseball fan. We're actually
Big
going to baseball practice right now at USD.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. All
Very
right.
good.
Here we go. I'll give you a baseball question. Question number 2.
Here it is.
In 1998, David Wells of the New York Yankees threw a perfect game. Which team was this against?
Said he was on the New York Yankees.
In 1998, David Wells was a New York Yankee. He threw a perfect game. Which team did he throw the perfect game against?
I'm gonna go
an answer.
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. Staying in the division. Stay there. Chris, you know.
I do. I remember David Wells' perfect game. Pitched it against the Twins. Thing I like about David Wells. Oh, sorry. Waiting for my bell.
Oh.
Thank you. Thing I like about David Wells, first of all, he's a San
Sorry,
Diego
Noah.
guy. Second of all, how about the game that he tried to pitch with the old Babe Ruth hat? Do you remember that?
I have seen that recently floating around social media
Yeah.
for some reason.
They wouldn't let him. They made him take it off. But I thought it was great that David Wells was trying to pay tribute to the Bambino.
Was that an actual Babe Ruth hat?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Really?
like he got it from, yeah. Well, did you see it?
Yeah, no, it looks. I mean, you can make anything look old, but it does look cool. I don't know why they would have such an issue with it. It's just a hat.
Because they have a lot of stupid rules out there in the world.
Okay. Here we go to our next contestant, Wyatt. Hello, Wyatt. How are you?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
What's
are you
up,
ready
Wyatt?
to play?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What team did Francisco Lindor start his career with?
That was the Cleveland Indians.
Nice job.
The Tribe.
The Tribe, yes. All right, question number 2.
Now known as the Guards.
Guardians.
It just doesn't have the same ring.
No, it
Sorry.
doesn't. Who won the World Series MVP when the St. Louis Cardinals won in 2011?
Did Freeze win it?
Freeze did win it. Nice job. We got a play on the line.
David Freeze came up huge in that series.
All right.
Game 6, he dominated. He won Game 6 pretty much all by himself.
I remember that.
Saved the day.
I was in London for some
Okay.
reason watching that game. All right, here
We
we go.
didn't ask.
Question number 3, Wyatt. Who is the first player to reach 4,000 career hits?
First player. Just gonna throw out Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. Stay there, Wyatt, just in case.
I think there's only 2 guys that are at 4,000. I could be wrong about that, but I got to believe Tyrus Raymond Cobb would be the answer you're looking for.
Wow.
Sorry about that, Wyatt.
You were a good player.
The
sir.
Georgia Peach.
I heard he wasn't too peachy, though.
He was the meanest person on earth.
the meanest
basically.
person on earth.
Yeah, that's what did you ever see the movie?
No.
With Tommy Lee Jones playing Ty Cobb?
No.
Oh, my God. he
I've
was
never even heard about this.
He was racist. He was...
I knew that. I knew he wasn't a great guy.
And when he slid in to any base, he put his spikes up in your face.
Is it an urban legend that he sharpened his spikes? Because I've heard that too.
That I don't know, but you got to see the movie Cobb, Scraby. It's a great movie.
Okay. I didn't even know it was a thing.
It's actually not a great movie, but if you want to know more about Ty Cobb, you should see it. That's
all right. Tommy Lee Jones is Ty Cobb. I don't know that I buy it, but
well, he was. He shaved his head for the role and everything.
Wow. All right. Was this pre or post Joker role?
Tommy Lee Jones?
Oh, wait. No, that was Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah, he was.
Nicholson, sorry.
Jack Nicklaus.
I did that all the time as a kid.
The great actor, Jack Nicklaus.
All right, here we go. Let's get back to the phones. We're going to go to Eric and Encinitas. Eric, you are on.
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hi, Eric.
Are you ready to go?
First time player.
First time player.
Good to have
Popping
you,
my
Born.
cherry.
All
Good
right,
to have
question number 2. Which player was the first ever Rookie of the Year award winner for Major League Baseball?
Ooh.
Tough number 1, I'd say.
Number 2.
Oh, it's a number 2. That's right. He's a first-time
Let's
player.
go with Steve Garvey.
The
The
Garf. It's not the Garf. But stay right
Can I
there.
just say, Eric, that was one of my favorite guesses of the season here.
It took me by surprise.
I think it was Jackie Robinson. I think that's the first time they gave it out. Yeah.
That is correct.
Sorry about that, Eric.
Sorry about that.
But thanks for playing. Play again.
Yeah.
You never can tell.
You never can
You
tell.
never can tell.
All right, let's go to our next contestant's longest holding caller. Dan has been holding for 10 minutes.
Dan the man.
How are you, Dan?
Hey guys, good. It wasn't it Tom Hanks that said there's no speculating in baseball?
I think he said there's no crying in
No,
baseball.
he also, I think he said.
Really?
No, he didn't.
Oh, I
Dan's
was
trying to
like-
be funny.
Oh,
This
I
is
see.
this is Mystic Dan.
Is this Mystic
Yeah.
Dan?
Did you bet on
This is.
Mystic Dan?
Wow.
And Matt, you got to understand, you're like me. You played caps, and that's about it. So Elo's got way more knowledge about the ball game than.
Oh, don't
you
give
or
him
I,
credit.
so-
Don't give
Yeah.
him credit, Dan. Don't give
Yeah,
him
he's
credit.
not taking the credit.
No.
I
Thanks,
have,
Dan.
I have high-level T-ball experience, okay? Here we go, Dan. Question number 1. Where is the NFL Combine usually held? What city?
New York City.
New York City. he
New
said.
York! Sorry, Dan. Chris.
I can't sing a song that was ever written about this city, so I'll just have to give you the Indianapolis answer.
Correct.
Sorry. Dan?
All right,
Mystic
tiebreaker,
Dan.
tiebreaker.
Good to have you there.
Tiebreaker.
Hmm?
You pick a number. Too much pressure picking these.
Pick a number, I like 3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Ollie.
Hey,
Ollie,
what's going on?
You got to put down that radio. Thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
my
Have
bad.
you ever played a tiebreaker before?
Yeah. No, I have not.
All
Okay,
right.
so I'll explain it to you. But Chris, who's our random person for today?
Very simple, Ollie. Let me give you Bill Hands.
Is that a real human being?
He's on the front page of Baseball Reference today. He's an old pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. He
Oh, there, I found it.
he won 20 games in 1969, so he had a few moments.
He did. He went. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Bill Hands.
I've never heard of Bill Hands, but I love it.
All right.
All right, Ollie. What I'm going to do is ask Chris a question. He's going to give a number, and you're going to guess whether the actual number is higher or lower than what he said. So, Chris, how many innings did he pitch in his career?
How many years did Bill Hands toil?
I can't get over it. 11 years.
Pitched 11 years. He was a pretty good starting pitcher, if I recall. I don't really totally recall. But, a couple hundred innings a year would give you 2,000. But then he probably tailed off. I'm going to say 1,700 innings.
1,700 innings. Ollie, is the actual answer higher or lower?
Whew. I'm going to go ahead and say it is lower.
Lower. He goes lower.
Oh, sorry,
no.
Ollie.
Sorry, Ollie. You guessed wrong. How many innings did Bill Hands twirl for?
How many? 1,951.
Wow,
Yeah.
pretty good.
That was pretty good. You were
Pretty
close. You were
good.
close.
Okay.
All right, let's go to our next contestant, John in Temecula. John, I know you know how to play the tiebreaker. Are you ready?
Tiebreaker.
I love it.
Have you ever
Here
heard
we
of
go.
Bill Hands, John?
No, not one bit. But real quick, you know what? What is it going to take for us to get on a winning streak? It already happens. I believe since we got Luis Ariz, we're 4-2. That's 2 above 500. Let's just get home and start winning some more. How about that?
Winning some games at home. That's what it's going to take.
I love it.
Very good, John. By the way, Bill Hands, I believe he's a long-distant relative of former Padre reliever Brad Hand.
No, it's not.
They're not related?
It's plural hands
this is
and
hands.
singular hand.
Yeah, they're not related at all.
Oh, okay. All right, John, yes, you hold on. I'm going to ask Chris a question here. Chris, how many home runs did he give up in his career?
In 11 seasons, probably gave up quite a few back in those days. I say, 30-ish. He pitched at Wrigley Field, so he probably pitched some games with the wind blowing. I'd say 300 home runs.
300 home
30
runs.
30 per year, times
John,
10 or so.
How many, or is the actual answer higher or lower than 300?
Lower.
Lower.
Yay!
Nice, John.
John's a winner.
Stay right there, John. He gave up way less than you give him credit
wow.
for. 167 only.
Oh, Bill Hands was better than I thought.
His top year was 1968. He gave up 26 home runs, but he still had a 2.89
So he
ERA.
never gave up 30.
He's got a career 3.35 ERA.
That would work in today's day and age.
Yes, he's not a strikeout guy.
All right, that's enough about Bill Hands, but it was fun to bring him up. He was on the front page of Baseball Reference today, so we pay tribute to him in our game. John wins. Chris versus the fans. We'll have another round of that tomorrow. When we come back, the NBA playoffs continue tonight. We'll take a look ahead, a look back at last night's debacle for Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Wasn't much better for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They looked a little like the Cleveland Cadavers.
Oh, hey-oh.
Sorry about that, Cleveland.
Anytime a cadaver joke is used, I'm going to laugh.
You like that?
Yeah.
More Gwynn and Chris ahead.
From the night.
All right. Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 4:25 the time. Padres win today in Chicago. Heading home from Wrigley. Off day tomorrow. Don't forget, 10 o'clock in the morning, be present for the Padres Roundtable. It's an hour of a commercial-free Padre talk with all of the 97.3 The Fan hosts. That is coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You can hear it from 10 to 11, or you can hear it again tomorrow afternoon between 5 and 6 if you happen to be busy in the morning. You'll definitely want to tune in because I'm going to bring up the fact that 20-20 for the Padres is not a good enough record. We'll see how the rest of the guys react to that. Scraby hasn't liked that today. He's been really upset with me.
I have a feeling that they're going to get on your side. And the reason being is that wins cure everything.
Well, they won today. They won today, and that's why I picked today to talk about this, because in my mind, the win today does not cure everything. They got to win more often than they lose. And right now, that's not yet happening. I settled in last night for some enjoyable television, Scrabe.
What does that entail?
Well, it entailed the NBA playoffs on one channel and the Stanley Cup playoffs on the other.
All right.
And guess what? Which I enjoyed 5 times more than the other.
I'm going to guess the NBA.
I didn't.
Really? Why?
The Stanley Cup playoff games last night were spectacular. Both of them went into overtime. Rangers beat Carolina in double OT, followed up by Colorado rallying from 3 down to win at Dallas in overtime. There's nothing quite like overtime Stanley Cup playoff hockey, especially when it's up against 2 of the lousiest NBA playoff games I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, the Cavs don't sell tickets.
The Cavaliers don't have anything other than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
They really, truly don't.
I don't know anyone else on that team.
I don't know how they won as many games as they did this year. I know that Jared Allen is one of their better players. He's a center, and he's been hurt. So without him, I mean, Donovan Mitchell is trying to do it all by himself, and that's not going to beat the Celtics. Boston won by 25. And then I expected a little bit more out of Luka and the Mavericks, and they get blown out by OKC by 22.
Kind of expected that, though.
Not that bad.
Luka
was way off his game last night. 6 of 19 shooting. I didn't see him screaming obscenities at the crowd last night.
So at least he knows when he's playing bad, he needs to
He's
chill.
a little more quiet, yeah. It's kind of funny.
At least he knows.
It's kind of funny when he's having a bad game. We don't have to hear Luka taunting everybody out there on the floor.
Chris is really, really taking.
I'm kind of down.
He's soured.
I'm just down on Luka.
You're not a fan. You're not a fan.
He's too good of a player. You know, I understand that in this day and age, everybody prances around and basically says, hey, look at me.
They peacock.
I get that. I get that we all do that now. But screaming obscenities at the crowd, that's a little much. Anyway, Luka was really bad last night. He was asked after the game about his poor play. He said, who cares? We lost. Anyway, they're down 1 game to none. Mark Cuban didn't look too pleased last night either.
If we're going to pick apart things that Luka's doing, he can't just say we lost. It doesn't matter. It does matter. You didn't play well and your team lost.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you're going to want all of the spotlight on you when you're doing well, then you have to take some of the heat when you're doing poorly.
Yeah, I don't like that answer.
Tonight, the Knicks take on the Pacers. How many points will Jalen Brunson get tonight? We'll talk about that in our Daily Gambit. Game 2 gets underway in New York shortly. The Knickerbockers are up 1 game to none. And by the way, the NBA confirmed today the illegal screen that was called against Pacers center Miles Turner on the final Indiana possession the other night. Usually the NBA comes out and says, yep, we screwed up. We got another one wrong. But this time they came out and said they got one right.
And no one cares.
The one series that is off tonight, Minnesota and Denver. And the Nuggets are feeling the effects now. They're down 2 games to none. Jamal Murray was fined $100,000 for throwing that heat pack onto the court the other night during the game. Seems a tad excessive.
Especially when Patrick Beverly threw a basketball at some fan's head.
Well, the authorities are actually...
yes, it's worse, but really.
The authorities are investigating Patrick Beverly. The NBA, though, gave Jamal Murray a $100,000 fine. He said he takes full responsibility for his frustration, trying to turn the page. I thought it was funny. Denver coach Michael Malone said today, guys, we're the reigning world champions. Let's act like it and play like it.
I love that.
I like it too, except for the fact that Michael Malone lost his cool as much as anybody did the other night.
You can't do that.
Running out onto the floor and screaming every obscenity known to man right in the face of official Mark Davis. How in the world he didn't get a technical foul for that, I will never know.
I don't know either.
But Minnesota right now is completely flustering Denver. That series continues Friday night in Minneapolis. 2-0 for Ant-Man and company.
I love Ant-Man.
I love Ant-Man too right now.
Big fan.
Really
of Ant-Man.
liking the Ant-Man. All right, we'll take.
Would you say real quick before we
Yeah.
get off this? Would you say that this NBA playoffs is not entertaining?
I'm enjoying a lot of it.
Okay.
The games last night just stunk. That's all.
Just one night. All right.
You know, but I've really enjoyed. I mean, look, to me, Jalen Brunson is must see, and so is Anthony Edwards. I think you got to tune in and watch these guys. They're playing spectacular. And here's another thing I like about Ant-Man. He said today, stop with all the Michael Jordan comparisons. I'm not him. I'll never be him. He's easily the greatest of all time.
Good for him.
Absolutely great for him. Even if he thinks he's as good as Jordan, at least he's not spouting off about it like a lot of guys would do.
Like our guy Luka.
Hey, all I can say for Luka is keep your mouth shut when you win, because you're keeping your mouth shut when you lose.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? You can't have both.
I do.
Big Five is coming up next, Grabe. Let's get to it when we return. 4:38 is the time. Welcome back. Gwynn and Chris Ello. Tony Gwynn Jr. and the Padres heading home after a 3-0 shutout win in Chicago today. As the score might suggest, the pitching was really good. Dylan Cease, 7 innings, 1 infield hit allowed, walked 2, hit a batter, and struck out 12. He K'd the side 3 times, 113 pitches, the second most thrown by any pitcher in baseball this season, tied his personal career high. Yeah, I was thinking about it too, Scrape, but the way the bullpen ahead of Suarez has struggled. Did Mike Schilt force a 7th inning out of Dylan Cease today because he didn't feel comfortable going to anybody else? Or, did he just go with Dylan Cease because he was the guy to go with? I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Yeah, Wandy Peralta pitched the 8th inning, and frankly, I kind of got on the edge of my couch in the 8th inning. You know what I mean? Like 3-0 with Cease, the Cubs would have, never caught up against him, but he couldn't pitch anymore after all those pitches. So Peralta comes in the 8th, and I got a little worried, but Peralta had a shutdown 1-2-3 inning, as did, of course, Mr. Dependable right now, Robert Suarez.
Someone on the chat said, what is the record for the Padres since Mike Schilt trusted Manny against the Reds? And I went back and looked. They're 6-2, so maybe that sparked something, Chris.
6-2,
since
including that victory.
Including that victory.
Right, since they did the Manny Machado thing.
Yeah.
6-2 and really could have been 7-1, but they, let the one get away last night.
How could they ever?
And the other one, of course, the 2 losses, right, were in the Waldron and Vasquez starts. It's exactly what we're talking about. They've got to, it's not easy. Those are not your best 2 starters, but you got to win some of those games in order to get away from the 500, the dreaded 500 mark.
We have some breaking news.
Do I get a sounder?
Oh, I guess it is sounder worthy.
Okay.
It's not baseball or football, it's basketball. Nikola Jokic, MVP.
He's won again.
He's won again, apparently.
Well, they didn't look at him play the other night before they got the vote in.
Yes, he 3rd MVP in 4 seasons.
How about that?
That's pretty crazy.
I got to say, Jokic is really good. This is going to be his greatest challenge ever. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic were the runners-up to Jokic. You're right. He wins his 3rd. That's a lot of MVP awards. You're
in
talking
4 years. That's crazy.
Just overall, you're talking, Jordan. You're talking Bird. You're talking Magic. You're talking Kareem. Wilt. I don't know how many guys have won 3, but there's not many more than that. And now Jokic is on that list. But just to finish up, because we were talking about basketball last segment. This is the toughest challenge ever for Denver. If he and Denver can get out of this after the way Minnesota's dominated the first 2 games, it's going to really say something about Jokic. So, he's going to have to find a way, and Denver's going to have to find a way. They play Friday, Game 3 in Minneapolis. All right, thank you for that, Scraby. Let's check traffic and then get into today's Big 5.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, folks are doing a real sucky job of navigating our roads this afternoon, guys, especially on the southbound freeways. Now, South 5 past Claremont Drive, collision over the right shoulder. South 163's got to crash the East 8 connector. You got the right lanes blocked. Also traveling on South 805 at Imperial, an accident not showing if lanes are blocked. But the biggest problem would be South 15. Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramp is closed, all due to a crash that resulted in a vehicle fire. Also going to find East 52 before Convoy, 2 right lanes blocked with a collision. Westbound King Freeway at Kelton, collision in the center divide. There's a vehicle over the right shoulder as well. And northbound 15 before Rancho Bernardo Road, crash over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big 5 starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. right. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by The Farmer's Dog. Fresh, human-grade dog food from a healthier weight to more energy. When you switch your dog's food to The Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all, Chris. It's just real-made food for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. I appreciate it when I used to get Farmer's Dog and they would put dry ice in there, and then I get to play with the dry ice. So that was fun.
Play with the dry ice. How does that go?
Oh, I would put it into like a
throw
plastic...
it up in the air and
no,
catch it?
No,
what do you do with it?
Put into a plastic cauldron and confuse the dogs as to why there's like smoke coming out of the cauldron.
Interesting.
I'm a 5-year-old in a 38-year-old's body, Chris.
Have you checked with Ben Higgins to see if he actually enjoys?
I have not.
A little farmer's dog himself.
You know, I will say,
as he seemed to intimate on one of his commercial reads.
I will say I never actually tasted the farmer's dog food myself, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing for someone to have a little taste of that. It's real food. It really is. Okay. Anyway. All right.
I think it'd be a little crazy. We have one quick other note. Somebody wrote in. We want to be a...
Uh-oh.
We want to appreciate everybody. The Mojo.
Oh, yes.
Our new professional volleyball team won its match last night over your team, the Columbus Fury. Mojo win, and apparently with that victory, they clinch a postseason spot.
Nice job.
In the inaugural season of the Pro Volleyball Federation.
I gotta say, this volleyball season moved a little bit faster.
It really
than
did
I
move
thought.
quickly. It seemed like we just had Carrie Walsh on about a month ago, and they're talking about the season, and now they're already 11-11. Anyway, good job by the Mojo. If anybody's been down there to see a match yet, but pro volleyball.
I need to go.
We got a winning team, apparently.
I honestly thought I had more time, but I guess I don't. But anyway.
Number 5.
The Cincinnati Reds, we're going for a carryover, I have a feeling. The Cincinnati Reds currently have the worst team batting average in baseball entering today and are currently in the midst of a 6-game losing streak as of this morning. Now, the Padres just saw the Reds and took 2 of 3 from them, and the overall feel was the Padres had a good series win. Now, more of the season has happened. Granted, not much more, but we may be seeing the Reds aren't as good as we thought. Chris, can wins throughout a season be diminished by a team being worse than we thought?
I don't know exactly what... Oh, you mean the Padres wins?
Yes.
And so now you look at the Reds and you say, well, maybe that's not as impressive.
Yes.
No. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because the Padres can't even beat the Rockies. So they got to take advantage and enjoy every win they get, Reds included. The other thing with the Reds, their statistics say they're a bad team, but I don't think they're a bad team. Defensively, they need work. Spencer Steer, they're still trying to fix left field from when he boggled it here last week so badly at Petco Park. But batting average, really, in this day and age, doesn't mean as much. The Reds get on base, they steal bases,
they have some
they
power.
hit home runs. So, I think the Reds are, still a ball club that could be heard from moving forward. So, no, I don't take any losses or any wins lightly. Same way as, I don't lose a game to a good team and say that's okay. You got to beat good teams too. So, either way.
Yes. Can wins throughout the season be diminished by a team being worse than we thought? I remember, for some reason, it sticks in my head that the Padres could not beat the Royals last year. And the Royals at the time, this year, they're a good team. At the time, they were not very good last year. And those wins, even if the Padres got those wins, we wouldn't have cared who it came against. So wins do not get diminished over time.
They don't get diminished, but they
look different.
They can cost you a little bit because you look at that. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Royals last year. They lost 7-8 games to the Rockies last year, right? They ended up missing the playoffs by 2 games.
And yeah,
so every game
could
matters.
Have swept the Royals and been in.
Every game matters.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
In that regard, yes, sir.
Number 4.
Ipe Mizuhara agreed today to plead guilty to federal charges of felony bank fraud and submitting a false tax return after authorities found that he stole nearly $17 million from Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani in order to pay off gambling debts to an illegal sportsbook. Mizuhara is my age, Chris. This is kind of crazy. I feel like this guy should be older for all he's done. But he had been Ohtani's longtime interpreter. He's expected to enter his guilty plea in the coming weeks. Total maximum sentence he could receive for both crimes would be 33 years imprisonment and fines of $1.25 million.
You got to be able to afford that if he stole $17 million.
Well, it's all gone.
I know, I'm kidding.
But in exchange for his plea, prosecutors, they would recommend a reduced sentence, and the plea agreement says that he will be required to pay full restitution of $16.975 million.
That's not happening.
To Ohtani.
That's not happening.
Also,
where's he going to come up with the money to pay Ohtani back?
They're going to garnish his wages till the end of time.
No, he's going to have to win at gambling. That's the only way he's going to get that kind of money.
Also, is
he going to get jail time ultimately?
They say up to 33 years.
No, I know up to 33.
I doubt he gets jail time. I really do. But he's not going to be able to pay back the $17 million either.
I don't necessarily look at him as a danger to society.
I don't either. But desperate people do desperate things, and it could become a danger to society.
Okay.
I'm up first. Are we just accepting this and moving on? As much as I want to say, like, this has been the quickest process of clearing a name in the history of clearing names, I guess we have to move on. I guess. I mean,
you're trying to say, should we investigate Ohtani further?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's just like...
You're upset that Ohtani didn't found to be guilty of anything.
No, I didn't say that. I'm upset because it seems like they have tried to scrub this so squeaky clean out of baseball, and it happened in the matter of a month, Chris.
Well, I would go along with a little of what you're saying, except for the fact baseball has made itself look bad many times in the past.
Yes.
From the steroid stuff to the Pete Rose gambling situation. I think this time Ohtani just simply did not have anything to do with all this, other than the fact that he wasn't very smart, in a situation where somebody could get that close to his money and take all that from him. I just don't think there's anything there, even though you wish there was.
I don't think that he is guilty. I just think that we have moved on from this way too quick.
Number 3.
LSU head football coach and one of Chris's new active favorite college football coach, Brian Kelly, made a strong statement.
No, he'll never beat out Lane Kiffin.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about Lane Kiffin. He made a strong statement about the state of college athletics recruiting when he was talking about whether or not the team would, quote unquote, pay for players. Here is what he said on an LSU radio station.
Well, I think I made it pretty clear in a number of the press conferences that I had that we were in the market in recruiting in the transfer portal looking for defensive linemen. It hasn't fared very well, quite frankly, because we're selling something a little bit differently, and that is we want to recruit, we want to engage, build relationships, we want to develop, retain, and have success. We're not in the market of buying players, and unfortunately, right now, that's what some guys are looking for.
There you go. So Brian Kelly says they're not in the market to buying players. It's really funny. His southern accent has gone away over the years.
He only had it the day he got hired.
He got hired. Chris, is he going to be left behind if he doesn't pay for some of his players?
I think to a certain extent, especially at LSU, he's going to be.
Yeah.
With the kind of competition they have. But I honestly don't believe him. First of all, you can only believe Brian Kelly as far as you can throw him, which isn't too far. So I don't believe this guy. You're going to tell me that LSU is not paying any money to any of these guys to bring them in? Are you kidding me? It's Louisiana State University. They compete with Alabama and Georgia and all these teams.
Auburn, all those teams.
Give me a break, Brian. You want me to boo-hoo and feel sorry for you because LSU is trying to do things the right way?
He's trying to set up a moral high ground, but college football coaches, and I hate to lump all of them in together, but I will. College football coaches don't really follow a moral high ground.
They don't, especially at that level. You can say what you will about Deion, but at least Deion just tells it like it is. He goes, I'm going out there paying as much money as I can, get the best team I can get. Everyone's trying to do that. He's the only one willing to say it.
I guess so, yeah.
And Brian Kelly's going the complete opposite direction. I'm just not. I'm not picking up his vibe.
I don't know how many 5-star players are going to care that you're not paying. You're building a team of high character individuals, and I think that's great. It's not going to work for him.
You're right. If he's right, if all the LSU is going to do is build high character guys, they're going to stay in the program for 5 years, and none of them are going to make any money or NIL money, then I expect LSU to start finishing behind Vanderbilt in the SEC standings.
True. And they should keep him on board.
And I don't think any of that's going to be happening anytime soon.
No, the minute he starts getting beat by teams in the SEC, he's going to...
Yeah, Brian, go tell your story walking. I don't believe it.
Number 2.
The Indianapolis Star has barred sports columnist Greg Doyle from covering Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever this summer following his exchange with the WNBA rookie in her introductory news conference. The Star did confirm this decision in an email to the Washington Post, and Bob Kravitz, a former Star columnist, said, quote, Indianapolis Star sports columnist Greg Doyle will not be covering the Indiana Fever. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't him, sorry. That was a Star spokesman. Anyway, Kravitz also reported that Doyle was in the midst of a 2-week suspension. The Star did not confirm his suspension, but the Post cited a source familiar with the station that Doyle is indeed suspended without pay. So I'm up first. Did he deserve this sentence, for lack of a better term? He just worked himself out at one of the biggest sports stories in the country, but what he did was creepy. And maybe it was meant to come off as a friendly thing. It did not come off as a friendly thing. If you don't remember, he did the heart hands to Caitlin Clark.
Well, she made her. He said, "What did it sign about?" And then he said, "If you'll keep doing that to me, we'll get along fine."
Like give him the heart hands, and everybody was like, "This is weird." So they're suspending him. I think this is the only move you can make if you're the Indianapolis Star, because I bet you she doesn't want this guy anywhere near her. Chris?
I don't know. I don't think Caitlin is all that concerned about Greg Doyle, but this is what they had to do in order to at least give off the appearance. Thank you. That they're not going to allow people in their employee to make these kinds of mistakes.
I will say he's been overly apologetic, which is a good thing, but it's too late.
He's still got to serve a little bit of a penance. By the way, speaking of Caitlin Clark, the other big story that came out in the last 24 hours, the WNBA is now going to charter for all of its teams to all of the road games. They've never done that before.
What?
That's right. WNBA is getting
these vets are going to hate these
new
rookies getting all this good stuff.
Caitlin Clark's bringing it on.
All right, when we get back, we have number 1, and the only reason I'm carrying it over because it's about Snoop Dogg. You got to listen for the Snoop Dogg news when we get back here on 97.3 The Fan.
Rolling into the final hour of the Scraby Chronicles pregame show, otherwise known as Gwynn and Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby, San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan, of course, Tony Gwynn Jr. with the Padres, as they are returning home from Chicago. They beat the Cubs this afternoon 3-0 at Wrigley Field, behind a dominant performance by Dylan Cease, returning to Chicago, where he starred on the other side of town, the south side.
But it's not good enough, so.
All right, don't interrupt me. I'm giving a recap of the game right now. Cease started in Chicago on the south side with the White Sox. Today he started on the north side with one hit ball over 7 innings. It was plenty good enough to win today and improve the Padres' record to 20-20. What is not good enough in my estimation is the overall record of 20-20, considering everything that the Padres have done great so far through 40 games this season. Jerks and Profar, incredible. Jake Cronenworth has returned to form and then some. Robert Suarez has answered all questions. The team is hit with runners in scoring position and with runners on base. They have the best OPS in baseball. Cease was a great acquisition. It's looking like Arise is a great acquisition as well. Jackson Merrill's had a very solid rookie debut. All of those things are positive. Yet, 20-20 is not going to ultimately get the Padres where they need to go. They have to start doing better at home. To that end, they return home to start a 6-game homestand with the Dodgers on Friday. And we remind you that we will be giving away tickets to Dodger Padres this weekend on the show tomorrow.
Correct.
So if you're tuned in here today and you're like, oh, good, when are you giving the tickets away today? We're not. We're giving them away tomorrow on the program. Want to remind you that you can get tickets, limited tickets, for all 3 Dodger games at Padres.com/tickets. Trying to keep them out of the hands of Dodgers fans. Good luck doing that.
It worked a little bit last year.
It worked in the playoffs for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The playoffs, you could find very little blue. Not last year, but 2 years ago.
They didn't make
you could find very little blue in the crowd. But regular season games, normally a lot of blue. Dodgers make their first of 2 appearances in San Diego. This weekend, Padres lead the season series 3-2. Can they finally win a season series against a Dodger team that has won 13 regular season series in a row?
Is this it against them?
No. First of 2 appearances by the Dodgers in San Diego. The Padres will also go to L.A. once later on this season.
Why am I confused? Because they play the Giants only one more time this year, I believe.
No, one more time at home, one more time away.
Gotcha.
Same with the Dodgers. After this, there will be one more time at home, one more time away.
Thanks for breaking that down.
You're welcome. My pleasure. We took a bunch of phone calls early in the program. Most people seem to somewhat agree with my notion that 20-20 is not going to get it done. A little pep talk was needed, and your friendly host was happy to give one. Trying to light a little fire under the boys is all. Scraby has not understood what I'm after today.
No,
He continues to try and remind me that I am said endlessly that it's early in the season. It's too early to care. It's never too early to care. I mean, it's early for the Rockies too, but their season's pretty much over. It's early for the White Sox, but their season's pretty much over. The Padres have established a nice 500 season so far. They're going to have to establish a little bit more than that.
I got a lot more on this in the Scraby show starting at 6, but I think this team is light years ahead of what we felt about this team last year at this point in time.
Yeah, their record's not light years ahead.
It's not, but it feels better.
It does. For all of those reasons I just pointed out.
Yeah.
All those good things that have happened. I thought the best call we had today was the one that said, you know what, this is fine, but Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr. have to start going big dog. Those guys are doing fine right now, but as I said, they're not paid to do fine.
No, they're paid to superstar.
Yeah, they're paid to superstar. Not quite seeing that yet from those two guys.
See,
Bogarts, I'm not even going to ask for it anymore because I'm just hoping he'll just get back to semi-normal.
He just had a 7-game hitting streak, so maybe kind of sort of he's going to get stuff together. Who knows?
Maybe kind of sort of.
Maybe kind of sort of he's going to get. He has to though because they rely on him far too much for him not to get better this year. Manny Machado, I guess I was going to say he has been hitting better in the last 7 games. He's hitting .241, 9 RBIs though, which is pretty good, and a home run, but. He's doing a little bit better. I think he's more injured than we think he is.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying that he's playing when he shouldn't be playing. I'm just saying that elbow thing. We did not expect him back for like the first month of the season, and he started the year with the team on the team.
Manny Machado did have a key RBI single today with 2 outs to drive in the first run of the game. Fernando and Jake had 2-out RBI hits to drive in the second and third runs of the game. Arise had 2 hits, scored twice. Cease took care of the rest today in Chicago. Suarez finished for his 12th save. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 2. Boston's jumped out 1-0 at Florida. Charlie Coyle, if you had him in your fantasy hockey lineup tonight, Charlie Coyle has struck for the Bruins, who already lead the series 1-0. NBA, they still are not yet underway in New York, where it is past 8 o'clock.
What are they waiting for?
And the Knicks and Pacers have yet to tip things off in Game 2 of that series. Reggie Miller is calling the game for TNT tonight, along with Kevin Harlan. You know what that means, don't you? Reggie Miller returning to Madison Square Garden, where he was one of the great villains of all time.
I don't remember. I was a little too young for
the
that.
Pacers.
I do remember that they hated him and he hated everybody. It seemed like, but
he gave the crowd the choke sign once.
It's all hitting me now. Yes,
many other Reggie instances, but of course, all is forgotten and much love for Reggie Miller in New York right now. All right, they'll get that game underway shortly. Everything else is pretty much in the bank. A lot of day baseball today. Dodgers won. They will bring a 7-game win streak in here to San Diego on Friday night. Oh, does that sound nice? Not that, the 7-game win streak.
Yeah.
Like us to have one of those straight.
Yes, please. I will give you this.
Well, wait a minute. What do you want that for? Because you seem to be just fine with what they're doing now. I'm going to start throwing it back at you.
I'm not fine with what they're doing now, but
you're
I'm going to be
just
happy
thrilled
with the 20 and 20
You're
record.
so happy with things right now, and you're upset that I'm not happy with things right now at 20 and 20. So I'm going to assume that you are happy with 20 and 20. And it seems like I've won another argument.
No, I'm not happy with 20 and 20, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours on a radio show.
You're only going to
complaining about it.
But starting at 6 o'clock, you're going to spend at least an hour on it.
I am not going to go that direction. I was actually going to go in a completely different direction, and now you have me rethinking my entire hour, Chris.
Tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for 97.3 The Fans commercial-free Padres Roundtable. It features Ben and Woods, Annie and Elston, myself and Tony. It's all presented by San Diego Roundtable Pizza for takeout or delivery. Go to roundtablepizza.com. That's Roundtable, the last honest pizza.
I got to ask them next time why their pizza's honest.
You should come for the Roundtable, just, to be here.
Okay.
So you can enjoy the feast that they bring us each week.
I'm back on the SD fat loss thing for a little bit until my birthday at least, so I
can't.
For you. Yeah.
The Roundtable feast, it's so funny. We all sit out there and do the Roundtable, and they put the feast just out of our reach.
It is. It's right there.
It's just sitting right there
like you
in
can
our
see
view.
Everything.
Yeah. Our mouths are watering as
and then
we
they
do
have
the
like
Roundtable.
a set box on the real stage.
An
it's
empty
like a fake,
set box.
Yeah, fake box.
Yes. All right, give me the number one sports story of the day in the Big Five, because you said it had to do with my guy, Snoop Dogg, and I want to hear it.
Yes. All right. Let's see. We're getting started with pizza talk again on the chat. We can't do it right now, guys. We can't do it right now.
Go pizza talk.
I didn't realize I started such a controversy. All right. The number one topic is this. Snoop Dogg is getting into the bowl sponsorship game, and the Arizona Bowl will officially be known as Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. As the presenting sponsor, it marks the first time an NCAA-sanctioned bowl game will be presented by an alcohol product.
It'll also be the first time that a NCAA bowl game will be presented by an alcoholic.
No, I don't think he's an alcoholic.
Snoop?
Oh, he's a weedaholic. I don't know that he's an alcoholic.
Fair enough.
But, so I guess I'll just go first. What do you think of Gin and Juice being a sponsor? I would like for one day a company or an organization to kind of be like, you know what? We're a college athletics program. We don't need the Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice bowl money. I get that's where we're going, but if you're going to, I just don't think that this is a good sponsor. And I know I'm coming off as lame, but I think it's a college athletics thing. Why are you accepting money for alcohol?
Yeah. I don't think you're lame this time.
Really? Wow.
This time. You know what? Gin and Juice, Snoop Dogg's one of my all-time favorites. Cracks me up. I get a kick out of Snoop Dogg. I really do. But I don't know that we need to be jumping into the proverbial hay with Snoop Dogg and the Gin and Juice product that he representing a bowl game. I think it's a bad look. I think it's a bad mix. But then again, the Arizona Bowl doesn't seem to care. The Arizona Bowl is a flat-out joke of a game.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
It's a Mountain West Bowl.
And the Aztecs have said many times they want no part of going to that bowl.
Yes,
and I stand behind J.D. Wicker on that wholeheartedly. Let some other team go to the Arizona Bowl and play in basically what is trying to be showcased as just a fraternity fest of football.
I think there needs. I think that's an okay.
You know what?
For
it might
one
be.
bowl.
It might be okay for 17-year-olds out there, but you know what? Most of us have grown up a little beyond that.
Well, you also have to be 21 to drink. So.
Well, I just think honestly, I would like to see the NCAA have a little control over this and say, you know, we don't really want to be associated with this. However, the NCAA can't do that because they're associated, I'm sure, with, some beer products, right? Promoting their big events.
Yeah, I guess there's
Budweiser,
there's Tostitos and Budweiser. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I kind of got to just sit by and let this happen, but I'm agreeing with you, Scrape. I don't think it's a great look.
I'll get over it in a couple days.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I won't get over this, he says.
I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, is Snoop Dogg going to go out there and take a couple shots of whiskey before the game on the field?
I don't think so. Well, it's gin and juice, so there's no whiskey.
Well, you know what I mean. Well, whatever gin and juice is, I don't even know what that.
Gin and juice.
Well, I know what those two items are. Is gin and juice
together?
Okay. Well, he's going to shoot that then.
I don't think people shoot gin. Trust me, I was a drinker, Chris.
Yeah.
And I only shot gin when I had to.
I just don't know that it's the best look. And I'm going to just applaud the Aztecs for staying out of this thing. And they better not go back on their word either and accept a bid to this thing ever.
That would put them in a predicament.
JD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're ever going to get an invite either because Dave Portnoy has gone in on JD publicly before, calling him a weasel and like all these other things. So
a weasel?
I don't know if weasel's
Why
the word.
was he a weasel? Because he wouldn't play in your stupid bowl game?
That's the problem. Because yes, I don't want to get it all into it because I know.
Weasel.
Yeah, I don't. Can we take out the word weasel?
It just means that JD Wicker and San Diego State have some scruples at least. Thank you for having them. I'm good with that.
All right.
When we come back, Scraby has angered half of society with a tweet he sent out earlier today. He doesn't want to talk about it, but it's my show, and we're going to talk about it when we come back after traffic on Gwynn and Chris.
From the
All right, NBA, Game 2 of the Knicks-Pacers series at long last is underway at Madison Square Garden. Have you ever been inside
I have
Madison
not
Square
ever.
Garden?
No, I have not.
How about
I've
this?
walked outside.
How about this? I've never been in there either.
That's
You would think in my lengthy life, right?
in your 150 years, yes.
I was there when they built it, but I've never been inside.
Well, we got to make that happen next time you're in
Would
New
you
York.
please? Knicks lead the Pacers in the early going there. 18-13. Jalen Brunson so far, 2 points. As he's easing his way into this one. OG Anunoby has 10 already for the Knicks. Knicks are attempting to go up 2-0 in that series. Other NBA news, a story broken on this very show by Matt Scraby. He was the first with this information that Nikola Jokic won the MVP. The league was very nice to alert you before they alerted anybody else.
I will have to defer to our guy Brandon on the chat.
Oh, you're giving that to Brandon? He
You know,
had it before you?
Dylan Cease trade was found out on the chat. There was another thing, big Padres news, that was found out on the chat, and now Nikola Jokic on the chat.
Nikola Jokic wins the MVP award for the third time in the last 4 years. I wanted to go over something real quick on the Padres. ESPN, at the beginning of the season, said the Padres would be mediocre this year. And the question is posed in this latest article, with a preseason expectation of mediocrity, what have the Padres done so far?
This is just fitting your narrative.
I didn't make this up.
So wait, you've been crushing these ESPN writers all year, and now you're agreeing with them.
I'm not agreeing with them. I'm just giving you the information. You can do with it what you wish. ESPN expected for the Padres mediocrity. So far, mediocrity. I don't know that you can argue with that. 20-20 is the very definition of that. Says the article, the Padres are back in star collecting mode with the Luis Ariz acquisition from the Marlins. San Diego indeed needed a leadoff upgrade, though that was the kind of luxury upgrade as the Padres offense has actually been one of baseball's best. And that's with Xander Bogaerts starting slow.
Slow is
Let me read that again. That's with Xander Bogaerts starting slow. I think that's a better description. But the Padres are still clinging to the middle because of their thin pitching staff, especially the bullpen beyond closer Robert Suarez. I'm just saying, and you're right, it does seem to fit my earlier
really well
statement that 20-20 is just what it says it is. Mediocrity.
But it's also 40 games into the season.
I'm looking for better.
It's also 40 games into the season.
That's true.
Yeah. They just came off beating a first place team, so, or maybe not first place, but a good team.
When you the day you actually say something correct,
a good team.
We're going to
a winning team, an above 500 team. Just took a series on the road.
They did.
Are we going to talk pizza now?
Yeah. What was your problem today? You've got half of America upset with you. It had to do with Chicago, and it had to do with the pizza in Chicago.
Okay, here's where it came from. I cannot stop getting text messages. I can't stop getting DMs about how great the pizza is in Chicago. You love Chicago-style pizza. I think you actually said yesterday your favorite thing in the world, in the pizza world, is Chicago-style pizza.
Without question. It's not even close.
So
a sausage, an onion, an extra cheese deep dish pizza from Gino's East in Chicago ranks among my all-time greatest feasts.
I am going to go read my
So
tweet.
much so that I asked and practically begged Tony Gwynn Jr. to bring me back some pizza from Chicago.
This is true. I
don't
think Tony
know
did
that
it.
that's going to happen. In fact, I doubt it will.
You should text them. Did you bring
Yes,
my
is my
pizza?
pizza on this way back with you? I tried to explain to him that he took a liking to my string cheese here.
He does, yeah.
And in return, I went down to visit him at a Padre game one night and brought him string cheese in the booth.
That's a very strange thing to bring him.
He asked.
He asked?
Yes, he said I'd like some of that string cheese to help get me through these ball games, and I brought him some.
That's crazy. I didn't know this.
So in exchange, all I'm asking for is a whole Gino's East deep dish pizza. I think that's a fair exchange.
All right, here's what I tweeted.
I'd love to see Tony getting on the
plane
charter flight today
with like a
balancing the pizza that he's bringing back from
it has
me. But
like
I
red
doubt
tape on it, so you can't open it.
I doubt it's happening.
I said, I'll say it. Chicago pizza is not that great. It's good, but not great. People who swear it's the best pizza in the country are insane. Cough, cough, Chris LOSD, cough, cough. Which got Sam Levitt to respond to me, which Sam doesn't ever respond to me because he's too famous. But he said, stop being a hater. It may be more like a pizza casserole rather than what I personally consider as a New Yorker, but it is still saucy, cheesy, and delicious. Whatever you want to call it, it's still really good. I'm coming at you, Scraby. Hashtag Scrabinator Revolt is what he said.
I don't think I could say it any better than Sam Levitt did in that particular tweet.
And so usually when people start poking the bear, which I'm the bear in this case, and people start poking me, I went further and I quote tweeted and I said, if I wanted pizza soup, I would order pizza soup.
What is your reference
Chicago
to
style pizza
soup? Can you eat it with a spoon? What are you comparing? What is soupy about it?
It's very soupy.
It's not watery.
It's very soupy.
Oh, please.
The one thing I do not like, and I had to narrow this down, is chunks of tomato in my sauce. And Chicago style pizza does have chunks of tomato in the sauce, and I am not a fan of that. I think it's gross when you eat a chunk of tomato. If it's a sauce only, all good. But chunks of tomato is not for me.
Well, what is the just out of curiosity, what has the response been from the greater public here? Like, I mean, do most people think you're an idiot for saying that Chicago pizza is terrible, or do a lot of people agree with you?
No, I don't think a lot of people agree with me, but I do think they do say that things are not as great as people make it out to be.
Well,
Gonzo says, have you guys ever had Red Baron's French bread pizza?
I don't know, but all I can say is if you don't like Chicago-style pizza, that's just more for me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
You know, I'm not okay with that.
Okay. Well, you don't have to like it.
I just don't like it when people force it in my face every 5 minutes.
All right.
And I've had Chicago pizza in Chicago. That was another question. Where have you had it from?
Well, you have to have it in Chicago for you to really get a, good sample.
Have you ever been to Regent's Pizzeria here in town, Chris?
I have not.
They're saying, Javier is saying it's the best Chicago-style pizza in San Diego.
What's it called?
Regent's Pizzeria.
That actually has my my interest.
Try the Meat Lovers Chicago-style pizza.
Meat Lovers Chicago-style pizza. Where?
It's in La Jolla. Regent's Pizzeria. Regent's is getting some good coverage right now.
Here, look over here.
See, I can get behind
I'm
that.
just shoving it in your face because you said you don't want it shoved in your face. That's a Gino's East pizza pie right there.
He showed me a picture.
That's a Gino's East pizza pie. I'm shoving it in your face.
All right. Oh,
All right.
Yes, pizza casserole. Thank you.
All right, Daily Gambit's coming up next. We got to get off this subject because I want to eat right now. And
Dominic says if someone backed into their parking spot in the parking lot at Pizzeria Uno to pick up their Chicago pie, Scraby's really losing it.
Oh, that would be it for you.
I would be like, what are you guys doing over here?
That would be a daily gripe and then some.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of Scraby, the Chronicles are coming up at the top of the hour, but we got Daily Gambit, a late night edition, coming up next on Gwynn and Chris. right, we set sail on the final segment of Gwynn and Chris today. Tony Gwynn Jr. on his way back from Chicago, where earlier at Wrigley Field, Cubs were shut out by Dylan Cease. Padres prevailed 3-0 to take the series and come home off a 4-2 road trip, getting set to host the Dodgers after a day off tomorrow. Game 1 of the series will be Friday night. Tyler Glass now pitching well for L.A. 6-1. He'll be taking on the Padres' Michael King Friday night.
You know, we never really talked about the Padres and Imanaga. Imanaga was pretty good, but in the end, Padres got the best of him.
I don't know.
They took the lead.
Profar hit a 2-run homer.
Yeah.
That was, I guess,
he doesn't
the best
give
of
up
him.
runs.
Well, he'd given up 2 home runs this year. That was his third. The reason the Padres had a chance to win last night was because of their pitching. Kept it close, set the stage for Profar. But ultimately, the bullpen unable to hang on last night. There was good pitching all around in that series. I mean, Darvish, 5 shutout innings. Vasquez, 4 and 2/3, 1 run. And then today, Cease, 7 innings, no runs. That's 3 really good starts in a row. Shutty from
all over the place.
Cease today. Scoreboard update. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Florida's tied things up with Boston 1-1. Early second period in Miami. NBA also tied into one quarter. Knicks and Pacers 36-36. Knicks had an 11-point lead in the first quarter. Pacers have come back behind Tyrese Halliburton's 13 points. Brunson has 5 so far. For New York, let's get into traffic and today's Daily Gambit.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. It's been a very busy afternoon, and we're not over it yet. Yeah, southbound side of the 15, still going to find the Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramp blocked with an earlier vehicle fire. Further down before University, got a collision mostly over to the right shoulder. Looks like 5 or 6 vehicles involved in that. Accident has cleared south 805 near Imperial. Got this accident on Orange Avenue on-ramp to northbound 805. Hit-and-run situation there. And with all these freeways in trouble, why not the Coronado Bridge now? On the bridge, heading off the island, just past mid-span, there is a stalled vehicle in that left lane. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Well, nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. I was at the dog park this morning. I hope this guy is not listening right now, but he was gladly telling me all the bets he's been making. And I just kept counting all the losses that he had with those bets. So gamble responsibly, everybody.
I want to pass along a quick shout-out to my man William out there.
William!
Delivers for FedEx in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Dropped a package or 2 off the other day.
Uh-huh.
I had to sign for it.
Okay.
He said, Chris Ello, I love that show.
The Chris Ello show.
Well, our show.
Yeah, I know.
So thank you, William. Appreciate you listening.
What's up,
and
William?
Thanks for dropping that stuff around. William also had enough time to let me know that he was a big fan of the Leafs Arise trade.
Okay, good. Who isn't? Who isn't?
No kidding. There's a few people that are holding out.
But they're going to come around real quick.
Well, prospect lovers are still, upset.
We'll see what Jacob Marcy does in 5 years.
They don't like to ever lose a prospect.
I get it, but Luis Arise is a good move. Good move.
Okay.
Thank you, William, for doing that. We have actually a lot of delivery people in our audience.
I think so.
Amazon drivers.
We're a good thing to bring along. For the ride.
Mailman Rob, the mailman Rob. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So last night we made 5 bets. The first one being the Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Celtics were 12.5-point favorites in the game. You chose Boston. I chose Cleveland, and Boston won by 25 points. So
over
you get that one. The
Cadavers.
The Cadavers. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You think that's going to be a 4-0 series, or do you think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep?
I don't know. Man, Donovan Mitchell, can he win a game all by himself? It's about the only way Cleveland's going to get one in that series.
So probably not.
Yeah.
OKC -3.5 over Dallas. Chris, you chose Dallas. I chose OKC. OKC won 117-95. Not even close.
Thanks, Luka.
Thanks, Luka. Jason Tatum of the Celtics over under 2.5 3-pointers made last night. We both said over. We were both wrong.
I thought that was a
0
gimme.
for 5.
I've never seen Jason Tatum miss a 3-pointer until last night.
He went over 5.
When he didn't make any.
So he missed 5 of them.
I know.
Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes were -1.5 on the puck line. You chose the Canes. I chose the Rangers, and the Rangers won 4-3, so I win that bet.
That was a thriller in double overtime.
Oh, it was double OT.
New York fans went crazy at Madison Square Garden last night.
Cubs, Padres. Wow, they changed that over pretty quick, huh? 'Cause now we're doing
They can do
basketball.
that very quickly, yes.
Cubs, Padres over under 9 runs in total runs in the game last night. We both said under, and we were both correct. 3-2, 5 runs. So
how'd your parlay do last night, Scrabe, on
I
Imanaga?
didn't even bring it up.
Yeah.
He struck out 5. It wasn't as bad. He did walk Tatis early. I thought I had a chance, but no.
He struck out 8.
Oh yeah.
He went way over the 4.5.
Sorry, I stopped paying attention when he struck out his 5th batter.
And he did not walk over 1.5 batters.
I know.
So you were a loser.
I wasn't going to bring it
again.
up. I wasn't going to bring it up.
All right. You got a parlay tonight?
I do not.
Good. All right, here we go with tonight. This game is in progress, but I think it's okay to bet. Indiana's leading 41-40 over the Knicks right now, second quarter. Knicks are favored by 4.5 at the end.
Okay.
So who do you like here? We're giving you this is something they would not do in a
No,
regular,
but they're basically tied right now.
pretty much. So
I'm
do
going
you
to go
like
with the
here?
Knicks at home.
You're going to go the Knicks to go up 2-0.
Yep.
I think the Pacers kept it close the other night and lost by only 4. I'll take the Pacers tonight.
Pacers.
Keep it close again. Brunson, 37.5 points over under. Unbelievable. It's up from the other night.
I don't know how many he has. Don't tell me.
Remember that he is working on a streak of 4 consecutive 40-point games. If he gets it tonight, he'll only be the second player in NBA history to have 5 consecutive 40-point-plus playoff games. Not even Jordan ever did that.
Wow. That is pretty crazy, I gotta say.
It is pretty crazy. Can Brunson do it over 37.5? No, you can't do anything better than Jordan did. I say he goes under tonight, finally.
I say he goes over.
You
even
say he
though
does it anyway.
I don't know what he scored so far, but...
All right. Well, it doesn't matter. He scores all his points in the fourth quarter anyway.
Okay, good point.
Rockies and Giants tonight. It's the only night game in baseball.
It's a fun one.
Sorry about that, but Giants are favored by 1.5. Game is in Denver. Who do you like here? Boy, the Rockies. My goodness.
They're tied with the White Sox now.
Yeah, they got shut out last night for the 5th time this year, and that's at Coors Field. I mean, they don't even score at home anymore.
I can't pick the Rockies. I can't.
Yeah.
I have to go Giants.
Gotta go Giants. I mean, the Rockies still haven't won a series yet this year. They've only split one series.
Oh,
you know who
I know
that was
who that.
against?
Yes, the mighty San Diego
That's
Padres.
the only one they've even split.
Someone's asking if Snellzilla is still hurt, and I believe he is still on the IL.
He is. Over-under for that game in Denver tonight is 9 runs. I just said the Rockies can't hit, not even at Coors Field. 9 runs used to be the score by the 3rd inning in games there.
Yeah.
I'll say under, unless the Giants score 10. You go over?
No, under.
Under. Jordan Hicks starts for the Giants tonight. 4.5 strikeouts for the flame-throwing right-hander.
All right,
Over
he's
or
on my
under?
fantasy team, so I've been watching him very closely this year.
Mm-hmm.
He can easily get 5 strikeouts, but sometimes he has like 2 strikeouts. He's
Okay.
all over the place.
All right.
But I'm going to go over against the Rockies.
I could get over 4.5 strikeouts against the Rockies these days. One more NHL Game 1 of this series in the West. Edmonton, a 1.5-goal favorite at Vancouver.
Okay.
So the Canucks are home, but the Oilers are favored. I'll take the Canucks. I still think they're without our San Diego goalie.
I think they are.
Thatcher Demko. Been hurt through the entire playoffs, but I'm kind of rooting on the side for Vancouver just in case he can get back in there.
I just like to say the Oilers.
You do like to say that. Edmonton. Edmonton's good. Vancouver and Edmonton. All right. Florida and Boston, still 1-1. Second period in Miami, that hotbed of hockey. And let's see. We have a score on the Knicks and the Pacers.
Now that we made bets.
Yeah, Pacers by 6 at the moment, 49-43.
What does Brunson have?
Brunson so far, I wouldn't worry about it. Like I said, he scores all his points in the fourth quarter. He's only got 5 to this point. He's only tried 2 shots. Just wait till the fourth quarter. He'll put up another 30 like he did the other night.
I want to bring this up real quick.
Please
real
do.
Quick.
We have 5 minutes left, so get it
so
in.
we were just talking about Blake Snell, and Blake Snell obviously injured with the Giants. He did not have a good start when he was pitching. But I saw this online, and I felt like this was so out of character for Blake Snell that it makes me feel like he's really, really struggling in San Francisco.
He's getting frustrated, for sure.
Because a fan went at him on social media, and Blake Snell sometimes will go back at people, but he always does it in a fun way. But Blake Snell went back and forth with this fan on social media for 4 or 5 comments. And it got to the point where the fan was calling Blake Snell, saying, like, oh, I could pitch better than you. And Blake Snell had to do the athlete thing of, well, I'll see you on the field. What I'm trying to say is that's not a good look, and that's not a way to handle frustration. I know it's hard when people are talking about you on social media. Even the small things that people say about me, it bothers me. But you just got to go the other way. You are pitching bad right now, Blake Snell.
He's not pitching at all right now.
You're not pitching at all right now, and you pitched bad when you did pitch. So I'm not blaming him. I get it. It just is very telling to me how he's feeling if he's getting into these altercations on social media.
One baseball note beyond Blake Snell.
You have nothing on that?
No, you said it good.
Okay.
You said it good. I agree with you. And,
All right.
and it's out of character for Blake.
All right.
You know, I like Blake a lot.
Me too.
And I think anytime you go to a new team, we don't understand as fans.
Yes.
These guys, I think, want to please the people they are now performing in front of.
Yes.
Especially when they had great success elsewhere.
Yes.
They don't want to come to a new team and pitch poorly and then get hurt. And I think that there is a desire to do well.
Yes, of course.
And then a frustration on top of that when you're hurt and you can't even pitch. And now people are, all over your case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like we are to Xander Bogaerts here. Just a thought.
Yes, we are.
Just a thought.
Yes, we are.
Pittsburgh Pirates said yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Please bring this up.
They said yesterday, no, we're not anywhere close to bringing up Paul Skeens.
We haven't even had a conversation
the rookie
about
sensation. We haven't talked about it at all. Never mind that he has an ERA of 0.something in minor league baseball. And he throws 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ready. We're not even talking about it.
Yeah.
Not even talking about it, they said. And that was yesterday. Apparently, we know what the Pirates have been doing the last 24 hours.
Changing
talking
their
about
mind?
it. Tony Gwynn Jr. was so right about this yesterday. Tony said as soon as his time is up on the clock, that they'll have control over him and the contract situation.
Yes.
That's when they'll call him up.
Well,
and guess what? That time is now because the Pirates have called up star prospect Paul Skeens. He will debut Saturday at PNC Park against the Cubs.
Let me go look at Olivia Dunn's Instagram one more time to see if she posted anything else, Chris. Because she posted the jersey of him. She was actually right, by the way, that he was going to debut.
Yeah, the girlfriends usually know.
Yes, they usually know. She posted a picture of a jersey, which I think means that he's going to play. Anyway, I'll be over here.
I have one more thing while you're looking at Olivia Dunn. I got a couple minutes left. I mentioned at the very end of the show yesterday, but we didn't get to talk about it. KC Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice suspect in an alleged assault that injured a man at a Dallas nightclub earlier this week. He's just a suspect. No charges have been filed, etc., etc. Chiefs, for their part, are saying we have no comment. All of this is really troubling for Rashee Rice, 24 years old. He was arrested in April for his involvement in a 6-car crash that he basically created that left 7 people with injuries. He's facing 1 count of aggravated assault there, 1 count of collision involving seriously bodily injury, and 6 counts of collision. He was racing his car 119 miles per hour before that crash. He came out basically tearfully, the old, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. It'll never happen again. His lawyer confirmed all of that, said, hey, he's just a kid. He made a mistake. The Chiefs basically said, we're going to rally around him and give him the support he needs.
Yeah.
We've said this before, Scraby, and I went crazy mad about Rashee Rice doing this in the first place.
You did.
But I'm always willing to give people a second chance. That normally does not involve going out to a nightclub and getting involved in an assault that injures a man. And I don't know for a fact he did anything, but the fact that he's a suspect means he probably was involved in something he should not have been involved in.
Yes, I agree.
And 24 years old or not, it's time this guy wake up and smell the coffee, because he's embarrassing his organization, and if he keeps it going, he's going to ruin what seems to be a very promising NFL career.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Rashee Rice, and it's very sad to me because obviously he doesn't have people in his ear that are giving him good advice. Good advice would be,
Don't go to a nightclub right now while you're in the midst of this other issue.
Don't go to a nightclub for the next year.
Yeah.
Get past this.
Yeah.
Show that you are who you say you are.
Yeah, you say you're really troubled and upset by this whole thing. Well, going out partying in a nightclub is not a good look. It doesn't mean you can't smile between now and then.
Yeah.
But you have to be a little more careful.
My alcoholism caused me to do some bad, not terrible things. I'm not in prison or anything like that, but it caused me to do some stupid stuff. And you know what I did when I did those stupid things? I really took a long time to think about what I did because I never wanted to do it again. This is not the answer, Mr. Rice. This is not the answer.
He's in big trouble, as it were, right now. I also am going to call out the Chiefs for a change. If this all turns out to be true, how about parting company with this guy instead of making excuses for why you need to keep him?
Or put him on, or no, I get it. Make some sort of, make him, I can't think of the word right now when I'm running out of time. Make him accountable for his actions.
Yes. Thank you. Very good. The Scraby Chronicles are next. Don't forget the roundtable, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Tony's back in studio tomorrow at 2 for another edition of Gwynn and Chris.